This is a story about how Tucker Max saved my life. I'm Brita, and this is the channel where we talk about personal development for professionals. And Tucker Max and I are now good friends, and that is a very unlikely combination. So for those of you who don't know who Tucker is, he is a pretty well-known author. He had, I think he's written 8 books. 4 were on the New York Times bestseller list, I think at the same time. Like, he has quite the record. He had some fame in the day. He had a movie written about his life. And his work was essentially on his drunken escapades, including spicy time with ladies in law school. And people loved it. I've read a couple of the books. Let's put it this way. He and I would not have been friends back then. Not at all. But when I started writing, I was just writing for fun, and I just knew I needed to get stuff out. And it was in a really challenging time in life. A pretty horrific time. A time when I had to, what I call my breakdown. I didn't have a mental health breakdown, but something just broke open where I had to admit that my way wasn't working. My trying to figure it out and work harder and push harder and just figure it out and beating the crap out of myself, my way was not working. Clearly it was not working. I kept going backwards and backwards and backwards. And just about that time, I met Tucker. It was through writing, and I had no idea who he was. In fact, I was signing up for a writing workshop and for publishing, self-publishing, and I'm talking to him on the phone. I have no idea who he is. And I'm like, so you're a published author? And he's like, yes. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, so he's done this before. Well, I get into this workshop and like Google him, and then I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. And I'm glad I didn't know who he was. I'm so glad that I did not know who he was. Anyway, we're in this workshop, and it's supposed to be about writing, and this man can see through me the likes of which no human being has ever done in their life, in my life. Like, that's the only way I can describe it, is he could just see through me. And it was scary and alarming because I didn't know it at the time, but I had worked incredibly hard every single day to put up these masks to show people this version of who I wanted them to see, and he was seeing through all of it. Shit, what do you do with that? And thankfully, I was at a place that I was open, and I was like, well, maybe this is here for a reason. Maybe I'm here for a reason. And the first day, he asked me a question that just threw me for a loop. He asked me what I was getting out of the chaos in my life. And I was a little taken aback. I was a little offended. I was a little defensive. And thankfully, I shut my mouth. But what I was thinking was, well, he just doesn't understand. This isn't chaos. This is just my life. And this is what go-getters live like. It's not chaos. I just do a lot of things. Except that it was Tucker who asked me. And Tucker's done he's done a lot of things. A lot more than I had ever done. Looking back, my life was total chaos. And he didn't even know. He didn't even know the facts. He didn't even know that literally the next week I was closing on the house that a year before, literally the same week, I had closed on and fully renovated down to studs in 5.5 months. That's chaos. Let me tell you, that's chaos. He didn't know that I was trying to start my estate planning practice up again, and it wasn't going well. He didn't know I'd gained 25 pounds in a year. He didn't know that I was miserable out in my little farmhouse in rural Texas. He didn't even know any of that, much less any of the other crap in my life. He didn't even know that. And yet, he's seeing the chaos in me. And I was like, oh, crap. And then he told me with so much love, which Tucker can be a little prickly sometimes, but with me, especially that first weekend, there was just so much love. And he said, you're a lot like I am. Your chaos was my anger. I still had no idea what he was talking about. I still had no idea what to do with that. But I knew he saw something in me that he knew something about me that was like, okay, I need more. I need more of this. Like, I need to know what this guy knows. The second day, we were going through what our book might do for people. And he is talking to me about something that has nothing to do with my book. He asked me, what if I was kinder to myself? And again, I get kind of defensive, and I'm completely out of touch at this point. My response was, it's kind of embarrassing now. My response was that I am kind to myself. I get facials. Yeah. That was me being kind to myself, is getting facials. At the same time, I am beating the living shit out of myself on a regular basis. I was so mean to myself, it wasn't even funny. And then wondering why life was what it was, why I felt the way that I felt. I thought I just needed more discipline then. And then I would be more harsh with myself. I thought I just needed to be more self-disciplined. Whew. And he said, what, in my response to the facial comment, he didn't dismiss me. He just held me there energetically. And he said, do you think you could be kinder to yourself? Well, at that, I just started crying. I don't know why. I didn't know why. I just started crying. And he just physically held me. I barely know this guy. And it was just so much love. It was just so much love. We get done with that workshop, and I was like, now my instinct is yelling. Yelling. I mean, instincts don't yell. But my instinct was like, on it. That man, you need to know that man. That man has something for you. You need to know that man. So I called him and asked if we could meet. I didn't even know what I was meeting him about. And I told him that. I knew I needed help, though. Now, he's not any kind of coach or anything like that. Pretty smart guy. Pretty wise man. And honest as far as he will tell you what he thinks, period. Today, with love. But he will tell you what he thinks, which can be terrifying. Tucker saved my life because he is the one who set me on this path to personal development. Because he had done it. His life had crashed. And he had a choice to ignore it or to do some really hard introspection and fix it. He chose to fix it. And his life just blossomed. So he was a couple years ahead of me on this road. But it was Tucker who said, okay, here's what you do. You go see this person. You go see this person. You do this. You do this. And the people that he recommended were the best of the best, who I still use, who I still go to, who I will till the day we all die. And the courage that he had, and I hadn't even really thought about it, but the courage to tell, at the time, almost a complete stranger, you need help. This is deeper than you think. This is more than counseling. Here's who you go to, but it's only as good as you are open to it. And I dove in. I just knew, this wasn't getting better on its own. I'd done all the counseling. I'd done all the self-help books. This was not, I needed to dive in. And I did. I dove head first. Spent about 6 months and a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time doing really deep work. And it has stayed at a pretty intense level since. And that was, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. You never know who's going to come into your life, but when someone comes into your life, I truly believe this now, it's not by accident. It's not by accident. And they're here to teach us something. Maybe not as directly as Tucker did, okay, here's your laundry list of, here's what you do. And I was ready and I was open because I'll tell you who I had been a couple years before, once I found out who Tucker was, a couple of things probably would have happened. A, I probably would have been intimidated. And B, I would have read even one of his books and been totally turned off. Been totally oh my gosh, this guy is a total jerk. I don't want anything to do with him. And that would have been a big mistake. A, he's not that guy anymore because of his healing, because of all the work he did. But the gift that he had to give me, holy cow, saved my life. Not that I was in any danger of self-harm physically. When I say saved my life, I would have just kept going, this miserable existence, and just thought, well, I guess this is the way it is. Putting on the good front that I have my shit together. Putting on the good front that, oh, I have the things on the list that are supposed to make me happy. And yet, here I am, still not happy. Still chasing. I thought I was chasing, I was really running from, but that's a story for a different time. And so if you're open, you never know who's going to come into your world and put up a mirror. That there are so many helpers around. So many helpers, if we're open to them. They're everywhere. Sometimes you can get hung up on oh, I need to work with this person. There are so many people around, if you're open to it. So that's the unlikely pairing of Tucker Max and Brita Long. And let me tell you, that friendship, we don't talk very often anymore. He's busy, wife, ranch, 4 kids. But when we do, it's always gold. It's always absolute gold. Just probably, I don't know, a month ago, I had this great idea, but it was based on a motive that wasn't great. And the bottom of that was fear, by the way. And I had this great idea, and every time I run something by Tucker, it's freaking gold. And so we got on the phone, and I'm like, here's what I want to do. And he's like, stop. Why are you doing that? And I tried to give him the BS answer, which why I would even try at this point is beyond me. But like he can see through me like, crystal. And he's like, okay, why are you really doing this? Okay, fine, I'll tell you. And the second I said it, I knew, okay, this is not, no. I didn't even need him to say anything else. But he did. And, it was gold. So I don't need to talk to him all the time. When we do, it's absolute gold. So that's just, some people have asked, like, how do you know Tucker? So that's the story of Tucker. But there are helpers everywhere. And be open. You never know what you're going to learn from that person. So have a great day, y'all. Take care. And thanks for listening. Thanks for making it, for a long video. Okay, take care. Bye.